The February 5th meeting of the Thousand Oaks Council on Aging is called to order, and we'll now have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have roll call taken by our staff liaison, Francine Sprigel.
Happy New Year, everyone. And we didn't have a January meeting. That's why I'm saying that in February. Please stay here present when I call your name. Chair Maria.
Here.
Vice Chair Mortimer.
Here.
Commissioner Stephen Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Stephanie Belding.
Here.
Commissioner Jeffrey Burt.
Here.
Commissioner Tony Gitt.
Present.
Commissioner Rosanna Guerra.
Here.
And Commissioner Karen Sylvester.
Here.
And Commissioner John Posta is absent. Thank you.
Thank you, Francine. Item 4 on our agenda is public comments, and this is the time when we invite members of the public up to state any concerns they have on senior-related issues or to present any items for the commission. At this time, I don't have any speaker cards. Is there anyone that would like to speak? And if not, we'll move on to item 5 of our agenda. And item 5 is our liaison and agency reports. Item 5A is the Global Adult Community Center update, and I would like to ask Patty Ham, our Global Center Director, to introduce this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, commissioners, for inviting me here today again. February is a fun, exciting month at the Global Center. We have so much that we're doing over there. I'm just going to highlight a couple things. On Friday, February the 14th, it's a special day. I don't know what it is, but we are going to have a Queen of Hearts bash, and it's going to be a Alice in Wonderland themed Valentine's party for our seniors. And we already have 98 seniors signed up for it. We can go up to 120. So any of you out there that are Alice in Wonderland enthusiasts or Valentine's fans, or you just want to go and have some fun, we have a live band coming. We're going to be serving cordon bleu with red potatoes and asparagus and salad, and I haven't decided on what special dessert we're going to have yet, but it's going to be yummy, I can tell you that. There's going to be a lot of dancing and fun and a fun photo booth for everybody, and the cost is $10, and it's from 5 to 7 p.m. on Friday, February 14th. So if you don't have any plans out there for Valentine's Day, come on over and buy a ticket and join your global friends and have a good time. And then the next day, February the 15th, Saturday, we have our usual first and third Saturday of the month ballroom dance. And it's our Valentine-themed ballroom dance. And Dance Masters will be the live band that will be performing. And the dance lesson for that day will be the bolero. Very fancy. So the admission for our ballroom dances are $10. And the dance lessons start at 6:30. They end promptly at 7:25. The dance starts at 7:30 and then ends at 10 p.m. And there's a lot of fun dancing and socializing. We do have male host dancers for those of you ladies that may want to go but don't have a partner. You have a chance to dance, and then they always have a great sponsor and yummy snacks at halftime for that. And then, if you're still board, the next day, Sunday, the 16th, we have our History Comes Alive series. Our Global Senior Center Commission presents Dorothea Felon, a Victorian striptease. Ooh. And she is going to be giving us a history lesson on the Victorian clothing for a woman. And she will be going from the outside in. So she will be talking about the different clothings on the outside, talking about it, and then it comes off. And then it's not as risque as you think, but maybe it'll get a lot of folks to come because of it. But that is $7, and it is from 3 to 4:30, and it's a fun history lesson. It's a great way to spend your Sunday afternoon if you don't have anything to do. So that's it for the Senior Center happenings for the month of February.
Thank you, Patty. Our next item, 5B, is the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, and I'm going to turn it back over to Patty to give us an update on CSVP.
Yes, Julie is at the Senior Congress today, so I am stepping in for her. The CSVP Volunteer Program provides income tax assistance, and that program started on Monday. And it is a free program for seniors 60 plus or persons with an income of $56,000 or less, regardless of age. So it's a great service for our community, for our seniors and our low-income folks. The program runs, it started last Monday, February the 3rd. It runs through Wednesday, April 15th. And the tax preparation sites are the Conejo Creek South Community Room, which is located at the Conejo Creek soccer fields. There's a building there. And that's Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4 p.m. And there's a location in Newberry Park, the Newberry Park Library, on Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And there are no appointments. It's walk-in. First come, first serve. And if you need more information about that, you can always stop by the Global Center or give us a call at 381-2742. Another opportunity, we have Hospice of the Conejo Community Volunteer Training Program. This unique 8-week educational program prepares volunteers to deal with compassionately and sensitively with end-of-life issues by providing them with the necessary skills and knowledge to be of service to individuals facing life-limiting illness. Volunteers are there to hold a hand, listen, read, or help write a letter. They may run errands, walk a dog, or provide respite to a family member. Trainings are Tuesdays, April 7th through May 26, 2020. And one more opportunity for the CSVP is the Be a Literacy Tutor. The Conejo Valley Adult Schools Literacy Center is looking for engaged people who want to give back to our wonderful community. They are always in need of new tutors who love meeting and getting to know great people from a very diverse background. No experience is necessary. The workshop takes place on Friday, February 21st from noon to 2 p.m. at Conejo Valley Adult School. And that is it for CSVP.
Thank you, Patty.
You're welcome.
All right, our next item is 5C, and it's the Ventura County Agency on Aging report, and I'm going to ask Commissioner Gitt to give us an update.
Thank you. Can we have the next slide, please? Thank you. So California's Aging Network consists of 33 agencies, area agencies on aging that coordinate, administer, and implement a wide range of programs, services, and advocacy efforts for older adults and persons with disability. In Ventura County, it's known as the Ventura County Area Agency on Aging, or VCAAA, and some of their programs include caregiver support, nutritious meals, and legal advice. One of the programs that's coming up in February is a informative seminar on housing information for seniors for both homeowners and renters. The next slide, please. It's going to be held on February 18th in the Camarillo Library. It's sponsored actually by the Council on Aging for Camarillo, but it has a lot of interesting information for all seniors who are interested in housing and renting. Some of the items that will be covered are Section 8 housing, public housing, and affordable housing programs that are available to seniors, senior housing in Camarillo and other areas, 55 plus income restricted apartment rentals in California and the programs for that, home repair programs, volunteer programs for home maintenance and repair, renting a room in your home, requirements for accessory dwelling units or granny flats, and there'll also be some people talking about their personal experiences with researching and applying for low-income rental units. So it's a very interesting program. It'll be at 10 a.m. to noon in the Camarillo Library on February 18th. Next thing I want to talk about is the Master Age on Planning. As many of you may know, the governor has issued an executive order to create a Master Age on Planning for seniors. That effort has kicked off in the summer with the appointment of a stakeholder committee, and then they have been holding meetings throughout California and lots of webinars. The webinars are very interesting, and they happen every Wednesday, and you can either log on to them with the internet or you can call in on a telephone. There's no cost, and it's very interesting. If you're interested in linking up, you just go to Google and type in Master Plan for Aging Calendar, and you'll see the link to get to the webinars. They start at 9:30 every Wednesday. This morning's webinar was on transportation, and it was extremely interesting. They had speakers from all over California for different agencies speaking about what is going on in senior transportation and what's needed. You have to remember that in this century, or in the last 100 years or so, the life expectancy of seniors has tripled, 3 decades tripling. So we now live to be a lot older than we used to, and the state and the country just really aren't ready for it, especially with the baby boomers. And so there needs to be a lot of work done if we're going to be able to cope with this increasing density of seniors. So I encourage you to call in. Some of the programs coming up. Next Wednesday will be a seminar on poverty, hunger, and homelessness. Following week will be emergency and disaster preparedness and response. On February 26th will be isolation, inclusion, and respect. On the 4th of March, civic and social engagement, and then parks and community spaces on March 11th. So a lot of interesting information. You're welcome to make inputs. It's very easy to make inputs either on the internet or by email or actually writing in. And all of this information will be put together in a master plan that'll come together this summer, and the governor will review it and then issue it in October of this coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Next on our agenda, item 6 is our commission reports, and at this time I'd like to ask Vice Chair Mortimer to introduce this section of the meeting.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair Maria. The Council on Aging researches a number of items of interest to seniors throughout the year. I will introduce commissioners who will provide current updates. 6A is health. Commissioner Guerra, would you please give your report?
Thank you so much. As your commissioner, I'm tasked with covering topics related to health. So I'm hoping that these topics will be informative to you and definitely over the next couple of months. So the topic that I picked first was what to consider when thinking about falls. So what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about the statistics, what can you do around the house to improve safety, and prevention tips. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was little, I never thought about falling. As a matter of fact, I was pretty happy when I did fall because that meant that I would be able to get a Band-Aid. And you use that kind of like as a badge of honor. Now, as we get older, falls take on a kind of a different meaning. So what I'm going to be talking about is specifically falls around the house, since we pretty much feel kind of comfortable around the house, but it's interesting how a lot of falls do happen around the home. So one of the things, some of the statistics, let me see if okay, so let me see. Okay, so I'll read out the statistics for you. So according to, and this comes directly from the website, the aging website that I'll give to you at the end of my session here. But some of the statistics are 33% of older adults said that their trips to the hospital and ER were caused by falls and other home accidents. Falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries in the U.S., and falls are costly, averaging about $30,000 a year. 1 in 4 older adults fall each year. So, you know, those are scary statistics, but there are things that you can do to prevent that. So the best thing to do is to look at your house. And I know that we feel kind of comfortable around our home, but I don't know about you, but I've fallen around my house. And I've fallen around my house in areas that I can't believe that I would fall. Even doing the, this webinar, I turned around and I had kind of like a little area rug, and it didn't have a gripper, and I almost slipped. We have, a step down from our staircase, and my husband has fallen down the staircase. So even though we feel comfortable in our own home, it's really important to do an inventory. So some of the things to consider are, and this is not only within your home, but your front yard, your backyard. So is there proper lighting? And I know that at night, sometimes my husband will fall asleep before I do, so all the lights are turned off. And even though I'm trying to adjust my vision for some of the light that's coming in through the window, it's nice to have like night lights or even some type of track lighting along the carpeting. So asking yourself, do you have enough lighting? Is there clutter on the ground? And I do have to confess that I still have some of my Christmas stuff on the ground. So if you have anything on the ground and you forget that it's there, it's a wonderful opportunity to fall. So if you have someone that can kind of come and help you take some of that stuff off the ground, and even if you can't and you find that it's too heavy, that's why you have kids, so they can come and help you with the clutter. The other thing is proper handrails, and as I mentioned before, lighting on the stairs. So hand railing, and even if you have a hand railing from the shower, outside of the shower, do you have a step down from the shower as you go in and then you come out? All of those things are really important. And then are my medications and food, are they within reach, or do I have to really kind of stretch up? And is it out of reach? And are your chemicals or tools, are they in a safe and secure location, or are they causing a hazard? So now what can you do with your body? So we talked a little bit about what to consider physically in your home, but what about you and your own body? And some of the things that you can do is really strengthen your own core. Your physical activity really makes a difference in terms of improving your flexibility, as well as strengthening any type of exercises that strengthen your balance. Because I've fallen around my home, I've fallen in stores. It really does help if you have a strong core and some type of flexibility to be able to bounce back up or even to recover from a fall. Also, I don't know about any of you, I wear flip-flops around the house. My husband likes to wear socks. But if you do wear socks, make sure that they're non-skid socks, just that they have some type of rubber gripper. And if you're interested in more information about this particular webinar, this is the website that you can go to. The American Society on Aging is a wonderful wealth of information for seniors. So I'd encourage you to go. And if you'd like this particular information tip, let us know. Or if there are other topics that you'd like to hear about regarding health, please let me know as well. Next month, we'll be talking about nutrition. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Commissioner Guerra. Item 6B is education. Commissioner Sylvester, would you please give your report?
Thank you. Education, kind of going to look at a very different thing than falling in the home, but I think equally as important for your mind. Okay. Is it ready to go? Here's a quote I found that really resonated with me. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Henry Ford. So, other than staying young, which is not a bad benefit, what are the benefits of lifelong learning? And I'm going to go quickly through this because I think some of it's fairly obvious, but I think it pays to think about. One, you can learn something new and stay up to date. Maybe there was a language you wanted to learn. Maybe in your youth you had a passion for art history. Maybe even you're thinking of embarking on a second career. But those are one reason to seek out some learning. Two, meet new people and socialize. That's fairly self-explanatory. Three, there's some evidence to suggest that engaging in learning and keeping your brain engaged actually has some physical benefits for your brain and your health. There's evidence to suggest that it could ward off senior moments and can help mitigate some of the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia. And fourth, and I think this is an important one, learning often can help you take advantage of technology. And in today's world, that is really becoming increasingly important, to be comfortable with technology, both on your smartphones as well as being comfortable online on your computer. There's so many mobile apps that can make your life better if you're comfortable enough to use them. The webinars that Commissioner Gitt was talking about also involves getting on your computer sometimes. So in the future, I'm going to dedicate a presentation just around technology and some of the local offerings on that. But today, this will be a little bit more of an overview. All right. So how can I take classes? One, just like in our youth, you can walk into a classroom and take it in person. And a lot of the colleges and community colleges, our local community centers, all of them do offer classes where you can show up and take them in person. Two, once you've mastered that technology, there is a plethora of online opportunities and classes that you can take. I know a lot of colleges and universities offer this. I know my alma mater is constantly emailing me about different classes I can do online and different webinars. There's also, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail, some opportunities to learn via the telephone. So again, you don't need that ability to log into your computer, and if you like to talk to people but don't necessarily want to show up in person, I think the telephone is a really good way to do that. And then educational travel programs, that combines travel and education, and those are programs geared for seniors, such as Rhodes Scholar, I think is one of the prime ones. All right, so what do we have here? So in addition to all the wonderful activities that you just heard about from the Goebel Center, they also offer a wide variety of classes: art, music, mahjong, Spanish, you name it, they have it. You can get on the website and register, or you can call and register. Two, the Conejo Valley Adult Education, which is run through the school district, also offers a number of classes. And you can find basic computer classes here as well as business classes. They have some classes that are earmarked as senior adult enrichment, and you can get a discount on their fees. Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and this is a nationwide program, and here they are headquartered at Cal State Channel Islands. I've got a little more information on that. So a lot of their classes are taught at Cal State Channel Islands, but some are not. And they are university-level classes for ages 50 and up. And again, they're offered year-round, so you can get on their website and take a look at what they have. And finally, I want to shout out to a telephone opportunity. This is Well Connected, a community for seniors run by Covia. These classes are all free. They're open to adults 60 plus. You can do them online, but you can also call in via the telephone and have a conversation, learn something, etc. So that's it, and I look forward to serving as your Commissioner on Education for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sylvester. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to Chair Maria.
Thank you, Vice Chair Mortimer. Our next item on the agenda is item 7, which is our guest speaker. And before we introduce our guest speaker, I just want to remind everyone in the audience that we're not allowed to take questions from the audience at this time. You may hear some questions from the council or the commissioners And they're allowed to ask the questions during the meeting. But if you do have any questions or comments for our speaker, if you can hold them until the meeting's officially adjourned, then you'll be able to have a dialogue with him. With him. So I'm going to hand it over to Vice Chair Mortimer, and I know you have the information on our guest today.
I'll go slow. I'd like to introduce Robert Dempster. Robert has been with us in the past for 2 great presentations. Today he will be telling us about the origin of St. Valentine's Day. Robert is governor of the Rancho Canayo colony of Mayflower descendants. He is a past member of the Council of the New England Historic Genealogical Society and is a life member of that organization. He is originally from New England and currently lives in Newbury Park with his family and enjoys sharing his family history. Please welcome Robert Dempster.
A background certainly makes me qualified, but it's hard for me to believe that here at 85 years old, I'm somewhat of an authority on love, which is something I never planned on. Just to put this into perspective, the celebration of love is big business. And it is nearly a $20 billion business. Over the next few days, roughly 200 million roses will be sold, about half red. 145 million cards will be exchanged. $2 billion worth of candy will be purchased. Everything from the little tiny candy hearts that we used to get when we were kids that say, I love you, to gigantic heart-shaped boxes that contain probably millions of calories waiting to be devoured. We will spend, and ladies, you can, because I'm addressing the ladies because it's the men who will spend, $125 a person between the dinner out, the wine, the flowers, the candy, and of course the card. Since this is the day we celebrate love, we must report that 85% of men and women say sex is an important part of Valentine's Day. It is estimated 11,000 children are conceived on Valentine's Day. Well, how did all this begin? To what, or more precisely, to who do we owe for this event that we celebrate every February 14th around the world? As is the case with most events, the exact origins are shrouded in myth, legends, and steeped in mystery. One person that we can agree on is a gentleman that we call Saint Valentine or Saint Valentinius. It is uncertain whether he is a single person or an amalgamation of several persons because so little is known of him. In 1969, the Roman Catholic Church removed him from sainthood. However, it is the official feast day still in the Anglican Communion and in the Lutheran Church. So, there you have it. The census view is that he was either a priest or a person who practiced medicine. He was sentenced to death by Claudius II for trying to convert him to Christianity. While in person, a jailer brought him his blind daughter, who asked him to cure her. Before his execution on February 14th, he jotted a farewell message to the girl and signed it, "Your Valentine." When the little girl opened the letter, she was able to read. Her eyesight was fully restored, hence Saint Valentine. There is another myth that Caesar wanted only young, unmarried men in his legions, believing they were better fighters, and could endure long periods in far-off lands if there was no wife and children behind. Valentine, supposedly, secretly married the soldiers, and when they went off to battle, they brought love messages with them. Why February 14th? Some say it was the day Valentine was executed. There's another theory that the church decided to celebrate Valentine's feast day in the middle of February in an effort to Christianize a pagan festival honoring Lupercalia, which was a fertility festival. In any event, in the 5th century, Pope Gelasius declared February 14th St. Valentine's Day, and so it has been ever since, except during the period of Oliver Cromwell, who declared Valentine's Day immoral, and banned it. So that's where it all began over 1,500 years ago, by probably one person. We would never imagine the image. He would never imagine the image and the huge impact he would have on the world today. The oldest known Valentine's card still exists with a poem written by a Frenchman, of course. Some say the tradition of sending Valentine cards originated in Germany in the late 17th century. Others claim that verses by Chaucer were the earliest sources of Valentine cards. There is a single lack of originality. I found evidence of early Valentines that have these familiar verses. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'll always be remembered toward you. How about the rose is red, the violet blue, lilies are fair, and so are you. There is a verse. Say, are the guys laughing? No. There is a verse written in 1684. Good morrow, Valentine, God send you ever to keep your promise and be constant ever. How about the immortal bard? What's in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And the beloved poet of Scotland, Bobby Burns, oh, me love's like a red, red rose that's nearly sprung in June. Oh, me love's like a melody that's sweetly played in tune. The Scots, of course. And, of course, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, how do I love thee, let me count the ways, and so it went on for 14 lines. In the early days, all Valentines were penned by hand. You could even purchase books of verse if you were at a shortage or didn't know what to say. If the Valentine was fancy, it was actually cut out to be by hand, including fancy lace patterns. There are many stories and traditions surrounding Valentine's Day and the celebration of love. In the Middle Ages, young men would draw their names on a bowl to see who their Valentine would be. And then they'd pull that name out, put it on the sleeve, and do you suppose this is the origins of the expression, wear your heart on your sleeve? Probably. Some believe that if a young lady saw a robin flying overhead on Valentine's Day, she would marry a sailor. If she saw a sparrow, she'd marry a poor man, but would be very happy. On the other hand, so they say, on the other hand, if she saw a goldfinch, she'd marry a wealthy man. We don't know if that also meant she would be unhappy. In Wales, wooden spoons would be carved as gifts on Valentine's Day. Popular motifs would be hearts, keys, and keyholes. Obviously, the conclusion, you unlock my heart. Oh. The oldest Valentine letter dates from the 15th century when Marjorie Bruce penned this note addressed to John Paston. right worshipful and well-beloved Valentine. Valentines came to America in 1630. There's some of the pictures of saints. In 1630, in the form of a letter written by John Winthrop, one of the early settlers of New England, who for many years was the governor of the Massachusetts Bay Colony, who wrote to his wife and ended the note, "Thou must be my Valentine, for none hath challenged me." The 1840s brought forth the golden age of Valentines. Victoria ruled a large part of the world, and she and her loving Prince Albert gave birth to an era aptly named for her, the Victorians. And the Victorians freely sent Valentines through the penny post. And in America, the U.S. Post Office introduced a new 5-cent stamp to speed those love notes along the way. By the mid-1800s, handmade Valentines were becoming less common. Dawn of the Industrial Revolution brought the machine age, and elements to make a fancy Valentine could be produced with the right dyes and exquisite embossing. Perfect fancy lacework was perhaps made, stamped out, and created from the quality papers not readily available in America. So now I can introduce you to the star of our Valentine show. Not him. Esther Howland. Esther Allen Howland. She was 3 times removed great-granddaughter of John and Elizabeth Howland. And John Howland was a passenger on the Mayflower. And I'm also descended from John Howland, which means that probably Esther and I were distant cousins. She was born in 1828 in Worcester, Massachusetts. For those of you from New England, where'd my friend go from New Hampshire? I guess he is disappeared. Worcester. Some people would call it Worcester, but it's Worcester. To Southworth Howland and her mother, also Elizabeth. But other relatives of Esther were descended from another son, Joseph. Pilgrims John and Elizabeth would have 10 children. By the time of Esther's birth, there would be thousands of Howlands throughout New England and beyond. She graduated from Mount Holyoke Female Seminary, now Mount Holyoke College, which is still an all-girls college out in Western Massachusetts. But this was for young women planning to be missionaries in the spirit of the Great Awakening. Esther's father was a stationer and publisher, so she was familiar with various aspects of paper products and running a business, combined with the novel education taught at Mount Holyoke, gave her the unique talents to be a creative member of this industry that she was going to start. Her father's work was published in 1844 with the grandiose title, The New England Economical Housekeeper and Family Receipt Book. Everyone had to have one of those. I happened to have a copy of it, and there were some interesting recipes I found. One, how to roast a pig. I mean, how many of us know how to roast a pig? How to cook an udder. I don't even know I would want to cook an udder. And there were some other things as well. She graduated from college in 1947. Her original plan was to be a missionary. A classmate of hers, Emily Dickinson, remarked to her brother that the president of the school had explicitly forbidden students from sending those foolish notes called Valentines. However, Esther Howland's life was about to move in another direction, in spite of the direction from the president. Shortly after her graduation, she received an imported Valentine. It was lovely, and she saw how much her friends liked it. She persuaded her father to order some more to sell. After looking over the cards when they arrived, she decided they could make them herself. Her father sensed the business opportunity, ordered the necessary supplies, and the American Valentine business was about to be launched in the mid-19th century. This is an example of some of Esther's work. Quality papers, including fancy lace, were not available in America. The local papers lacked the linen content of those from Germany and England. She designed several cards, gave them to her brother Charles, who was a salesman. Imagine everyone's surprise when he came home with orders totaling $5,000. And this is in the early 1800s. I have no idea what she sold them for, but I have 2 copies that I have been able to acquire. And today, if you find one, they're worth about $100 to $200 for an early, and you can always identify them because they had on the back they had an E, Esther, for Esther Howland. Now, a short time after sales doubled, she was now a businesswoman. So what was she going to do? Within a few years, her annual sales topped $100,000. By today's money, that would be $2 million in today's dollars. They were just elaborate, and they were all assembled in the attic of the home in Worcester, Massachusetts. And to do this, she got all of her classmates from Mount Holyoke, and she created really what became an assembly line. One girl would cut, one girl would paste, one girl would put ribbon, and down the assembly line it goes. Long before the mother of the American Valentine industry failed to heed the words of Mary Lyon, Mount Holyoke's president, and made a fortune with those silly valentines. And now the question of the day. What does the Mayflower, Valentine, and Amelia Earhart have in common? Well, John Howland, this is some of the girls working on some of these for Esther. The Mayflower passenger was John Howland. John Howland was the one who was swept overboard and rescued. And if he hadn't been rescued, I probably wouldn't even be here. And you could say, thank God. This is some of the lessons. I'd have to look that up. But Amelia Earhart, when she disappeared, where was she trying to land? Howland Island, which was named after Mayflower passenger John Howland. So the Mayflower, Valentines, and Amelia Earhart all come together. Of course, a descendant, Gideon Howland. So that's basically the story of the American Valentine industry, how it started, the origins coming out of the Mayflower, the entrepreneurial spirit of Esther. She never married. She took care of her father in his later years. But she was the one who saw the vision and figured out how to make these in large quantities, and they are treasures if you can find one. And I thank you very much. I hope you all have a very happy Valentine's Day, and make sure that you spend that $127. Take your loved one out for dinner, and buy the flowers, and do everything. So thank you very much.
Do any commissioners, anybody have any questions or comments? If not, I just want to thank you. Every year I look forward to your presentations. They're always very informative and entertaining, so thank you.
Well, my pleasure.
And I'll make sure all the guys on the council spend their money.
It's already spent.
Today?
Today's
Oh, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's amazing what people will do for free dinner. We had celebrated on Maui, where we go up in West Maui. And we had 32 people who came over, family and friends, and all for a free dinner. But we all had a great time, and I have always said if I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself.
Thank you very much. All right, our next item on the agenda is commissioner comments, and this is the portion of our meeting where our commissioners on the council can provide any announcements or information that they want to share. It's not a discussion or an action item event. It's just some sharing of any comments that they have. So I'll open it up. Commissioner Belding.
Yes, I just have a brief comment. For those of you that went to the Wellness Fest, it was amazing. We had about 80 vendors there and hundreds and hundreds of people that came. And I personally wanted to thank Commissioner Mortimer, Commissioner Sylvester, Commissioner Guerra, Commissioner Burt for coming and spending the time to get out the word to our community about the Council on Aging, and it was fantastic. And if you missed the Wellness Fest, you must go next year because it's really exciting and cool. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gitt.
The Conejo Valley Village helps seniors stay in their homes and remain socially connected to our community. And tomorrow, on February 5th, at 4 p.m. at the Goebel Center, we're having a recruiting event. So if you're interested in finding out more about the Conejo Valley Village or joining or volunteering, please come to the Goebel Center on Jantz Road tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burt.
Hi. In June 4th, actually, of 2020, we're going to host our annual Senior of the Year's Awards banquet at the Goebel Center, and you out there can, of course, nominate somebody. The nominations are now open. If you go to www.tooaks.org/seniors, you can see a nomination form and fill it out online. If you know of a senior who volunteers, whether it's at a local nonprofit or in any other way, please consider nominating them for recognition as the Senior of the Year Award nominee. And there's only 3 conditions they need to meet, of course. They have to be a resident of TO or the unincorporated areas, 60 years old, and have volunteered 3 of the last 5 years. And again, our nominations are open. They will be closing April 1st, so get to that website, nominate somebody who you feel is very deserving. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening on June 4th, 2020 at the Goebel. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sylvester.
Yeah, I've got a couple. The first is that the Thousand Oaks Library just announced their selection for the Citywide Book Club. It's called The Honey Bus by Meredith May. And in conjunction with that, they have a whole series of programs and events and movies at the library, culminating in the author herself will be speaking April 26th here at the Bank of America Performing Arts Center. Second, this is my monthly entreaty to like us on Facebook, share our pages. We're the Thousand Oaks Council on Aging, and on Twitter we're at TO Council Aging, and I post upcoming meetings there as well as volunteer opportunities and anything that's relevant to this community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Guerra.
I just wanted to remind people that February is Heart Healthy Month, so think about ways that you can maintain your heart healthy, either talking to your doctor or just looking at different opportunities to keep that heart going. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I was just going to share an opportunity. We talked earlier about the Conejo Senior Volunteer Program, and one of the notifications that comes out is on some Eventbrite activities. And last Saturday, I went with a couple of girlfriends to, I'm going to say it's Rancho Sierra. It's right off of Lynn Road. And we did nature park restoral. So we basically would clear like a 4-foot circle and put in 5 holes, and we planted native grasses and shrubs. The park rangers were there to walk us through it and teach us, and I'll do anything to avoid doing chores at my house. And this Sunday morning, I'm going to be scraping and painting fence posts at the stables there, right off of Lynn Road. So and I think the Nature Park Restoral runs through December. I can't remember if it's weekly or monthly, but it's free, and it was kind of fun. Get together with some friends, and we just chatted and planted some plants. So anyway, if we don't have any other commissioner comments, before we adjourn, I just wanted to mention a few things. Our next televised meeting is going to be March 4th at 1 p.m., and our speaker is going to be Victoria Jump from the Ventura County Agency on Aging, the VCAAA. So I would invite you to either join us here live or watch the televised broadcast, or you can watch online at TOTV. And if you do want any information on the Council on Aging or have any questions about the agenda items, you can call 805-381-7362 or email councilonaging@toaks.org. And there being no further business before the Commission, the Council on Aging meeting for February 5th is adjourned.